Here we are. Hello everybody, this is Crypto Trader Vader, and I'm back with another Poloniex trading journal. This is the series where I go through all of these 35 coins you can see on the left hand side of the screen there and analyze them live. If you want to jump forward to your favorite coin, you can just scrub through the video, because every coin that I am analyzing, I turn it green. So you can just scrub through the video and get to your favorite coin if you want to. If there's also coins you want me to check out live, then please pop a chat or a comment down there, and I'll do my best to check it out. If it's on Coinigy, I'll find it, I'll make it happen. So, without further ado, let's begin with ADA. One of these days I should do this list backwards to shake things up a little bit. Okay, we're in the 1 hour view, so I'm just going to change that quickly over to the 4 hour. That's the view I prefer. I've been trugging along with my journey to 1 Bitcoin, my 0.2 Bitcoin to 1 Bitcoin. It's been going a little slower than I anticipated. However, I haven't lost a bunch of money yet. So in a market like this where everything's losing, I seem to be doing moderately okay. So I'm hoping that when the market starts winning, I'll be able to ramp up the profits and complete that journey a little faster. I know I haven't updated those videos in a little while, but I will do. We'll be providing an update to that stuff. Hopefully tomorrow if I get to it. ADA. Last week I said if it's greater than 3,600, it's a bull run. And that was 22nd of March, right around here. Didn't quite get above that 3,600, although it did shoot up quickly here. And hence hasn't gone for a bull run. It looks like it's consolidating. It's trying to decide whether it's time to turn this ship around or not. If you look pretty closely, you can kind of see this this 1, 2, 3 bottom forming. It's a very shallow one. So basically the difference between this 1 and the 3 here is pretty minimal. However, it's still technically there, so especially if you're going by the candles, not the wicks, it's very subtle. But there is still a trend up, and of course a larger trend down, so we've got a bit of a wedge forming. Let's just draw that properly, hey? Move that one up here, that one over there. So we've got this kind of crossover happening. Has seemed to break out above that, which is a good sign. Really, we really need to see ADA kind of have a clear candle above this 3470 level to give us a bullish indicator. Bitcoin Cash now. Bitcoin Cash, I was trading this 1, 2, 3 bottom here, 1, 2, 3. It started to get up to this level, and I rightfully waited for it to come back down, but when it bounced off this 3 for a second time, I bought in right around here. And that was sadly a bad move, because of course it just went straight down, and that was a bad trade. But you got to take the good with the bad. I mean, you got to take the bad with the good. You got to make sure that the bad trades are cut off as quickly as possible. And now, of course, it looks like it's forming a new bottom. So bearish on that one. I'll even put the whole word until next week. Black coin now. And here we have this 1, 2, 3 bottom that failed previously. It did break above this 2 line. What I've been noticing is with these 1, 2, 3 bottom formations, if you take an arrow, right, one of these arrows, and you click just above where this 1 line is, and then you click again just below where this 2 line is, you get kind of a distance. So you copy, you paste that, so now you've got 2 arrows, and you hold this arrow above this line here, just above it, or even just below it. And then right around the top of this arrow, you look for previous resistance points. So you can see here that the price touched this line, touched it again, touched it for a third time, and then broke through, right? So that's immediately what we call a support line here. And what happened to this 1, 2, 3 bottom as it broke out of this 2 mark, it went pretty much that same distance between the 1 and the 2 upwards. So it kind of doubled that position. See this position right here, paste it just on the breakout, and that's the sort of profit that I will look to take. So that really would have been a successful trade if I'd taken that one at that point, which I didn't do. At least I didn't sell it at that point. But what we're seeing now is this same situation with this 1, 2, 3 forming. It's kind of hovering around this line here. Make that a little bit smaller. And move this one just a little bit up. Copy paste, so we've got the same distance with the arrows, and we paste that above this line here, and look left at this arrow, look left for previous resistance points, which is pretty much around this yellow line now, and then we would sell it just beneath that. Of course, this one fell short of that by quite a stretch, and I would be afraid that I would have likely missed that gap just slightly. That said, let's come back and touch this line. This 3 line here. Where's the 2? There's the 2 pretty much where it broke out. And now it's breaking back down beneath that. So looks to me like black coin will probably be heading at least back to 2800 or just under 2800. 2800 sats. Alright, let's move on to BitShares. Okay. Now with BitShares we kind of have maybe, I mean, you really have to zoom in to see these 1, 2, 3 bottoms, breaks out above it, touches the line, continues upwards. But I suspect that this is probably part of a larger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, where the 1 is there, the 2 is up here, and then 3 will be somewhere around this mark. So we really need the price kind of to move back up above this line here for us to be able to have a buy-in above that breakout, and that would be around about the 1730 mark or so. Move on to clams now. And again, you're starting to see these patterns. I know that I'm just a record repeating and repeating the same things, but this is kind of how I've drilled it into my head to look for this stuff really, really quickly. And it's not, super interesting work, but it's still work. 1, 2, 3, bottom. Here's your line. It has failed to breach that, and even gone beneath, even the wick of the candle has gone beneath this 3 line twice. So I would say that clams is probably looking for a lower position. Lots of people getting rid of clams, I guess, which is a shame because I love clams and I'm holding them. They're one of my few longer term holds. Because I mean not because there's anything fundamentally interesting about the coin, but more just because of the profits that I'm making off of Just Dice by hosting the coins there and staking them. But I dare say I'll put a call on that to be bearish until next week. Civic, I bought into this one with a trade on my Journey to 1 Bitcoin videos. So here's a 1. Here's looks like a bit of a higher up 2. I mean, you can look in here and say, well, this is a 2, this is a 3, and it's broken up above the 2 already. Of course, every time there's a new high, that can count as your new 2, and then that's your new resistance point that we need to break. And of course, this is now 3,200 or so for Civic. Yes. Dash coin. Let's move on. Getting through these nice and quick. Wow. Smash, crash, dash. I did do a short sell at this blue marker, I think. But I already closed that one. Maybe I should have kept that open. Look at it crash. So looking back here, I've gone and marked out previous resistance points for where I think the price is going to be going. These are points where the price has previously, you know, bounced off of. What is going on there? I don't know why it's going to TradingView. Anyway, the prices has, you know, rested on these sort of lines you can see here in the past. So they're that's what I've marked out as kind of these points of resistance, and you can see the dash pretty much adheres to them pretty solidly, including this one here where it's bounced off of to try and get higher, failed to break out obviously, and then come back down. So now that it's broken down beneath this with a wick, if it has a solid candle going beneath this line here, about 0.0428, 0.0428 equals a bear move even lower on that one. Dash is not looking super healthy. I guess, I don't know why. I don't think anything's fundamentally changed about Dash coin. It's still a coin, you know, with these master nodes and you know, privacy focused, and but ultimately the hype disappears. So unless there's something new going on, where did my MACD go? Just bring that back. Now it's got 2. So now it's broken beneath this. I dare say the decred is going down as well, which isn't good. Just want to mark off where the previous resistance lines were. Give me an indication here. There's some support resistance as well. There even. Obviously these points. Now we zoom forward with these lines, oops, intact. And here we are. So, oh, great. So the price looks like it's broken down and will probably continue bearish. 520. I reckon I'll probably get down to about 520k. Alright, Dogecoin now. Really looks like it's bottoming out. I've said in many other videos that the price of Doge will get back to sub 30k sats, sorry, sub 30 sats rather, beneath this point here. I'm still leaning towards that outcome, but you know, if this price actions continues to stay slower, then we might see a little bit of a bowl forming, kind of like that. Yeah, still generally bearish on this one. Alright, let's move on to Ethereum. See a mini 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that I've drawn out there in the past. 1, 2, 3, broken above the 2 almost, and then failed. And now it just continues on this big old downtrend. I don't think it's slowing down anytime soon. If it does slow down, it will probably be temporary and continue lower. Although it is at this kind of historical support level. Probably down to 0.046 maybe. Expanse coin now. Alrighty. This price is very much slowing down. But we're still not seeing a bottom forming here. So with expanse, bearish generally. It was bearish from last week, so I was right there. I should look at the previous prediction columns more often. Factum coin, FTC. Nice 1, 2, 3 bottom forming here. Never got up there. Never got up to this 2 level. So we change it around. We say, alright, well, this is the new 1. This is the new, or even this is the new 2. And we wait. We wait for this 3 to form and turn back around, and then it needs to head above 320k sats to 320k sats for a bull move. Folding coin now. Nice bottom forming. The double bottom's right on this line. It's probably going to break through, I would predict. Because double bottoms are pretty rare. Bearish. Generally bearish. Sub less than. Where's the less than symbol? Less than 150 sats. Alrighty, moving on to game now. Here we have a nice 1, 2, 3 forming. 1, 2, 3 bottom. I'll draw it out because I know you guys don't get sick of it. Lots of blues in my colors today. 1, 2, 3 bottom forming. It's tried to break out above this line. It actually has broken out above it, but the solid candle hasn't been there. So we'll call that a fail. Fake out, breakout. Comes up, comes down. This is why we wait for a solid candle to close above that line and a new one to start. Although it is really at this trend line as well, going upwards. It's really make or break time for game by the looks of things. If it can stay above this trend line, we might have another reattempt at breaking this 17k sats level, and hopefully if it breaks through that, we might have a bull move. Greater than 17k sats is a bull move on that. I'm going to put a star next to it because I do want to keep an eye on game credits. I did look at that last week as well. Okay, let's move on. GNO. This nice trend line here. There we go. Broke out above it. Thought it was all over. Thought the bull run had started. But no, it didn't. Continues to go down and probably will. It does not look like the bottom is forming for everything. There's always a few coins that go first though. Greater than 2950 sats equals a bull move for GNT, Golem Network Token. 2950, here we are above it. So that was right here when I predicted it with this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It did break out above that line, rested on it, and then continued upwards. And now, of course, come crashing back down to earth. Let's see if this math makes sense again, because I'm curious to see if this plays out with this particular coin. Three. Let's take the arrow, we place it just above where the bottom of that 1 is, and just below where this 2 line is. Copy paste, so we have 2 the exact same distance, and then we place it just above where this 2 line breakout is. whoops, hang on, let's go Control Z on that. Alright, let's just delete that, hang on. Let's copy and paste this one again, so we get the distance accurate. I don't want to make any mistakes here. So we've got, that distance is pretty much spot on. What we do now is we look at the top of this arrow and we go left, and we see the previous resistance points. Just above this arrow here, we probably have this one here, kind of that support that it rests on. So really, I would have probably gone and said, if I would have caught this breakout, other way, I would have tried to sell probably around about there, because the arrow, we look around the top of the arrow and we find the nearest kind of resistance level, and that's where I put my quick profit margin, or my quick profit take, because that same distance from the 1 to the 2. Interesting that that plays out. I'm learning. What's going to happen in the future though? Well, the price has come back down, pretty much resting on this line now, which is not uncommon for it to continue to go upwards. So it does look like it could trend upwards. We'd need to catch the next break, which would be above 33.84. Equals a bull move. Alrighty. Library credits now. That's a bear. Generally bearish on that one. Moving on to Lisk. Library credits. You've broken my heart too many times. Ooh, Lisk looks like it's crashing as well. Another bad one. Bearish. What did I say last week? 168 sats equals a bull move. That was on the 22nd here. Well, it didn't get above that, so I was right. I was right. Alrighty. 1, 2, 3 bottom, little 1, 2, 3 bottom. Litecoin. Wow, big old crash. I did short Litecoin around about, I think it was here. Excuse me. It's quite late over here. Litecoin just keeps on going down. For those of you who've been following these videos for a little while, back in November, December, I was saying that 2.02 is really the ceiling for Litecoin, which I was definitely wrong about, because it did break out above it and kind of stayed above it for a minute there. But it just feels more comfortable at these sub 0.02 levels, and it just historically has repeatedly found itself in that area. So look where we are. This is the day view, so we've got a very long-term view of Litecoin. This is going back to 2014. It's pretty much stayed beneath that 0.02 the whole time, except for a very few spikes. So I could probably I'll confidently say that if it's below 0.01, it's probably undervalued. And if it's above 0.02, it's probably overvalued. And in that respect, it's fairly easy to trade when it gets to the extremes. Because if it gets under that point, under 0.01, just start buying. Just buy little chunks as we go along. And then when it gets back up above to around 0.015, get rid of it. Of course, it could go higher, so maybe hold a little bit, but that's a fairly easy trade. Just keeps on going down now, though. Moving back to the 4-hour view. And Litecoin, it's going to get another generally bearish flag. Sorry to put that on all of these coins. I do want to find some winners, and I think there's a few in there that have an opportunity to turn around, but it's not too frequent. Still a lot of uncertainty in the markets, and oops, what have I done? Marking out another 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in Navcoin now. 1, 2, 3. Marking out this point here, the resistance point where it's touched now 3 times, failed, and here's the 3 mark. Good thing is that it's bounced off this 3 mark, and it's starting to climb higher. So we might slowly see the price kind of ease back up, and then maybe test this area again, and then either decide that it's going to go to the next point, or go, nah, fuck it, I'm going down, back down. So why don't I just leave those arrows there and we can have a look at what happens. Blue arrows. I'll say see blue arrows. We can have a look at that one next week instead. Okay, here we are with OMG. Not really 1, 2, 3, is it? It's kind of failed that. 1, 2, 3. Tried, failed. Still hasn't got to this 1 point yet, but it's getting there. OMG. Generally bearish. Rep now. Whoa! Look at that big old red candle. That one is a watch. See a coin. Now I did put a trade on this one in my journey to 1 Bitcoin. Managed to pick up a little bit. 1, 2, 3 bottom. Broke out above. I already sold it. Sold it right here, I think. And now, of course, coming back down. Yeah, it looks like it's generally bearish on that one, despite it looks like it's really turning around, but I think it'll probably be bearish. Oh, actually, I won't put generally bearish. I'll just put bearish until next week on that one, because I don't think it's bearish for the long term. I just think that it needs to consolidate and come back down here and decide where it's going to launch off of next one. Okay, we've got a double bottom here. 1, 2, 3. Not really. Kind of a failed 1, 2, 3 there. That wins a generally bearish flag. Alrighty, storage coin. Getting to the final few here. If there's anyone want me to check out, chuck it in the chat, and or leave a comment underneath, and I'll do my best. Storage. Okay. Here we go. Let's flick up those lines a little bit, and let's draw out this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It's very clear, this one, for those playing at home. Here's the line up there. That's your touch line. That's what it needs to break above with a full solid candle. Of course, it's consolidating right now. It's deciding which way it's going to go. But if it can break above this 10k sats mark, we're looking at a bull move. Hey Timmy, what's going on, brother? Thanks for tuning in. What are you buying at the moment, Tombs? Let me know. I'll take a look at the charts for you. This one is STR, Stellar, Lumens, XLM everywhere else, but on Poloniex. And really, with this one here, we see 1, 2, 3 bottom forming, but it's failed this bottom, and it's breaking beneath that. So that one wins a generally bearish flag on that one. Buying drugs, well, that's always a good investment. Strat. Okay. Again, this looks like we've got a 1, 2, 3 bottom forming, and it's kind of broken out, had a fake out breakout up here. What we do is we can just wait and turn that into the new 2. So instead of the 2 being at this level here, we'll pop it up here. Whoops, that's a 3. And now we wait for the 3. So if we're going to have this price turn around at this point and start to head back up, we will need to break 64k or so. And that would equal a bull move. Last couple coins now. VTC. Wow, that looks nice, doesn't it? That's so clear, that one. Of course, the price really needs to move up from here for it to confirm that 3 position, because right now it's really not a strong 3, right? So even though I'm naming it a 3 here, we really need the price to just start to edge up a little bit more before we can call that a clear 3. And if you're feeling risky, you can put in or buy a small position at that 3 mark, and then have it, if it fails, just immediately get out of it. And then if it does go ahead and break above this 2 mark, add to that position. However, I'm not really that risky unless it's a coin that I've got a good feeling on in general. I'm going to mark it out though, because I do want to see what happens with that one, and that needs a break really above the 30k sats mark. Greater than 30k sats equals bull move. XCP. Oh, very similar chart pattern there. Look at this. That's what, Vertcoin? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's just very similar. Though this one here is, you've got a smaller one on the run up and has broken above that. Almost tried to stay above that line, but ultimately failed. It's a strong resistance line right here. That one, who the hell knows? XMR. It's almost time for some sleep for me. Monero, what are you doing, my friend? Get up there. You had such a good run there. Let's have a look at the longer term view of Monero just for funsies. Oh, it's so fun. Still trending generally upwards. You know, following that logic, probably a little undervalued at the moment. But yeah, it's still encountering this very strong resistance at this mark here. And I made a good couple of trades on Monero back here, where I bought right at the bottom, sold right at the top. But ultimately, I was hoping that it would finally break out of this kind of 33, 32 area, which it failed to do. And the market has been punishing it since. It's just been going down and down. So that one there's another watch. We'll check that one out at a later date. Next week, in fact. Every Thursday, tune in. Let's change back to 4-hour view. This one day is freaking me out a little bit. So we had with XPM, this 1, 2, 3 back here, still has not broken above that line. And yet it has failed this trend line that it was bouncing off of, failed beneath that, which could mean that you've got kind of this upside down bowl forming, right? Which means it's slowing down and starting to go back down. However, of course, it's markets and anything can happen. Man, I don't want to always end with all these watches, but shit, I just don't know what the hell's happening with XPM. XRP. X Ripple. Oops, I'm drawing all over the place. Hey, stop drawing. Oh, I drew this over here too. Nice little image. Okay. XRP failed to get above this line, and that's continuing down. That downtrend. Sadly. I'll put there bearish until next week. We really need to see XRP turn around. It's one of the real front runners in the alts, and I think it's a good indicator of the market in general. If you look at the over exuberance having failed kind of at this point when it was worth way too much, this is starting to slow down, right? But it's probably going to take us a few more months for this really to turn around. And I hope that's not the case for all the alts, but it could very well be. Last one here, Zcash. If there's any you want me to check out, let me know. 1, 2, 3. Failed. That one there needs to reach a new bottom. Bearish until next week on that one. Saving that journal and closing that bad boy. And I just want to quickly have a look at Syscoin because that's been taken off. So it's really just, I mean, you know, I see all this 20% gains in a day stuff popping up on the front pages of Bittrex and other exchanges where, you know, because Syscoin was listed on Binance, it's doing really well for a change, but I mean, really, it's only because so much value has been wiped off in the last couple of weeks with Syscoin, which, you know, seem to be bucking the trend along the way, because there was some upcoming announcements that seemed pretty promising, and after the excitement of those announcements kind of fades away, the price starts to lack. And of course, this big jump here is a Binance listing, which is yeah, sure, it's cool, it's great news, but people seem to get overexcited about these listings. It doesn't really mean much. At the end of the day, if someone wants Syscoin, they're not waiting for it to appear on Binance. Only a very small percentage of people are waiting for a coin to appear on their favorite exchange before they buy it. If they really want Syscoin, they'll just go to another exchange and buy it. So these big price pumps when they're getting listed on a new exchange, they're usually short-lived, and it's no surprise that, you know, it's pretty much crashed to, I don't know what, 30% to the 30% mark of this total run-up. So it's really no surprise. But that's the aim. That's the name of the game. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you in a week or so. All right, peace, guys.